We're live from our studios here, number 35, John Hammond Street in Accra. Good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. I am Noble Crosby-Annan.
And I'm Bernice Abubedu Lanza. Let's take a look at our headlines.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
EcoBank,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Tonight, Accra East residents brace themselves for days of power outages as the ECG undertakes planned maintenance across several communities.
And the opposition MPP urges President Mahama to withhold assent to Cocoa Board bill, warning rushed passage could harm cocoa farmers.
Also tonight, Jura's Lifeline Road now a death trap as farmers, traders and residents face rising transport costs and dangerous journeys daily.
And in international news, Iran says a deal with Oman defining new shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz is in its final stages. Thank you so much for your company once again. We're also streaming live on all our socials. We are TV3 Ghana. Let's take a look at the details of our stories now.
Let's start the bulletin from here, shall we? Residents and businesses in areas within the Accra East Enclave should gear up to face some power outages for a period of 6 days as the Electricity Company of Ghana carries out planned maintenance works. Areas such as Dodowa or Yarifa, Airport Hills, Osu, Achimota School and some others will be affected. Nura Mohammed has more in this report.
Starting on August 8, 2026, through to August 14, several areas within Accra East will experience a temporary power outage as the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says its routine planned maintenance works will improve its service delivery. Residents in some of the affected areas spoke about how this temporary outage will affect them and how they will cope until things return to normalcy.
If someone is coming to buy TV, fridge, microwave, you have to text before the person will take it. So it will affect so many people. And this electronics, if there's a fault inside, then the person have to return it, which is another damage it. The company can't take it back. If they do clean up, the way they used to go around, make the announcements. That's how they do the same thing also. So that people, so everybody will be prepared.
If somebody come to your shop, buy something, and you have to test the thing, because the person cannot live without testing it. And to the life you have light, it make people to look inside your shop, to make everywhere bright. Understand? Almost what I used to say because of light. Light is the first thing. If I don't have light, there's no market for me. If they want to take it, they should take it in the night. But I'm not sure they will work in the night. Understand? They will work at the daytime. Anytime they office, but I need just if they take it before evening time around 4, you have to have light. As I prefer that way.
Personally, I have a fridge and I'll have foodstuffs in my fridge. So that 4 to 5 days there, it will affect me. Even when they off the light 2 days, some of your foodstuffs will spoil, especially the meat and the fish. It will spoil in the fridge, so it will affect me. Yeah, so I don't think it's a good idea if they can do something about it. Taking the lights off during the daytime, it will be okay.
ECG will also be carrying out a similar planned maintenance concurrently in some areas of the Accra West region and expresses deep regret over the inconvenience the exercise may cause to residents. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
To some other stories now, and for many families, childbirth can quickly shift from joy to uncertainty when babies are unable to breastfeed. As Ghana marks Breastfeeding Month, we bring back a story we first aired in March 2026, where a pioneering breast milk bank at the University of Ghana Medical Center, UGMC, is improving survival chances for premature and critically ill newborns. Sarah Apenkro reports.
Mary is here at the UGMC to donate breast milk at the Human Milk Bank as a volunteer. As a regular contributor who has donated for months, she describes it as a simple act that can make the difference between life and death for another child.
I had my baby here at the UGMC. When I came in, I was in a room with another mother who had also delivered but couldn't get breast milk within the early days for her baby. I just decided to step in and help. Seeing her struggle every day and the baby crying, not getting enough food, I decided to try the first time to see how it goes. It went very well, so even after I got discharged and I went home, I still decided to come and then donate for them.
The safety of the milk remains a top priority. Donated milk undergoes rigorous screening and processing before being approved for use, ensuring it meets clinical standards for infant care.
So this is the raw milk that we are supposed to pasteurize. And then we have a thawing machine. You can see this is frozen. It's all frozen. So we use this thawing machine to melt it. So after melting it, we transfer it into this pasteurizer where the pasteurization takes place. We pasteurize it to make it free from any microorganism that will be harmful to the baby.
The initiative, Ghana's first of its kind, has already supported a growing number of babies, relying on a steady pool of lactating mothers who volunteer as donors. In the neonatal unit, vulnerable infants who cannot receive milk from their mothers are supported through donor breast milk, which is safely screened, pasteurized, and stored under strict medical standards.
So the first is to recruit and screen donor mothers. So these donor mothers are women who are breastfeeding and have excess milk. The women will come in and then they are screened. The screening involves testing them for certain infectious diseases, specifically HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and syphilis. Once a mother is negative for these diseases, then she is eligible to be a donor for the bank. So far we have seven active donors. For now, we're providing the milk free of charge. So to start, we're focusing on babies in neonatal intensive care units or NICUs and newborn nurseries. And specifically, we are focusing on preterm babies and sick neonates.
But beyond the statistics, the real story is written in the lives of mothers and their babies. For beneficiary mothers like Amma, the milk bank has been life-saving.
When I needed it the most, that's when I had it. Because I gave birth prematurely, so the stress alone, I wasn't getting the breast milk for my baby. And my baby was due to suck, but then no milk. And baby started to cry, and you know, premature baby, the human milk is the best compared to the formulas and others. So when I called and they answered and they gave me, that's the depression for getting the breast milk was sorted. I'm pleading with mothers, they should donate more so that they can save a life, because they saved me and my baby.
Another mother, Gloria, wished the initiative had come earlier.
Very excited about this initiative because 5 years ago when I had my daughter, after the birth, there was no breast milk. And even throughout the entire process, being discharged and being home, that I had to even rely on another breastfeeding mother, milk, you know, which I hadn't consulted any doctor. I mean, I just wanted a solution for my daughter. So looking at this initiative that we have here in Ghana, the Human Breast Milk Bank, I felt like if this was in existence 5 years ago, definitely the doctors would have gotten something for my daughter to feed on.
While the initiative is already improving neonatal outcomes and easing the emotional strain on mothers, healthcare professionals say expanding awareness and increasing donor participation will be key to its future success.
We realize the responsibility this puts on our shoulders to be the first of its kind in Ghana, but we do not want to be the first and only one. We want to be able to share our knowledge and experiences with others so that we can have something like this set up in every region in Ghana. The idea is to have a good store of breast milk so that then we can be pasteurizing and then subsequently be able to distribute when people need it, when the babies need it. And so we need more donors.
Breast milk banks are relatively rare in Africa, but are slowly growing, with only about 8 operational milk banks across the continent as of early 2025. Breast milk provides essential nutrients, boosts immunity, supports brain development, and protects newborns from infections.
Sarah Apenko, TV3 News, UGMC Human Milk Bank, Accra.
We want to further the conversation. Dr. Kennedy T.C. Brightson is Director of Family Health Division at the Ghana Health Service, and he joins us this evening. Grateful for your time, Doc. The UGMC has taken the lead with the Human Breast Milk Bank. What are the plans by the Ghana Health Service? Are we going to see a replica of this in major regional facilities?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's a good thing that UGMC is doing now. But I must be sincere that this practice has been going on within the Ghana Health Service facilities for some time now. It is not novel to the Ghana Health Service. There are various or many hospitals that have breastfeeding rooms that practice this type of. So it's a good thing, but it's not novel to the Ghana Health Service. It's something that the service has already been doing, and as many hospitals as possible continue to do that. And we have been encouraging them to open more and more very convenient rooms for breastfeeding, just not corner somewhere, but the place where the woman who must breastfeed will feel comfortable, be it donor breast milk or the mother's own breast milk.
Doc, if I get you clearly, you're saying that the system created by UGMC where mothers can donate breast milk is stored in a bank and given to other babies of mothers who are unable to produce enough breast milk is not a novelty. We are not talking about breastfeeding rooms here. We're talking about the bank.
Yeah, so probably because you are talking to them for the first time, your assumption may be that that is the first time ever, in Ghana that this is being done. But there are hospitals that do this. There are also private hospitals that do this. So I'm not disputing the idea that it is a good practice that they have embarked on. What I'm saying is not about who first started this or who didn't start it first. No, I'm saying that this practice has been on.
Right, Doc, so for persons living in different parts of the country who may require such services, do we have it replicated in the various regions? Is the Ghana Health Service considering it if it is not so?
The Ghana Health Service has always supported all the facilities that the service controls. And it's anything that goes to boost the morale of the service and increase the lifespan of babies and their ability to survive. The Ghana Health Service is in for it.
Right. Finally, Doc. Right. Yeah. Finally, we are in the breastfeeding month. Are you able to tell us what your unit is doing this season to encourage mothers to breastfeed their babies for proper child nutrition?
My unit. Are you referring to the Department of Nutrition of the Family Health Division or I don't
The
really
Family
think.
Health Division is what I'm talking about. Do you
The
have
family
any
health
plans?
division, well, we have embarked upon series of activities. We've embarked upon education, and last week I was in your studio at TV3 to talk about breastfeeding. And we have launched breastfeeding month also. And the important thing here is to keep educating everyone breastfeeding, the importance of breastfeeding and the benefits of breastfeeding to the baby, to the mother, and society at large.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Dr. Kennedy T.C. Brighting is Director of the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service.
From health to politics, the opposition, the NPP, is calling on President John Dramani Mahama to withhold assent to the newly passed Ghana Cocoa Board Bill 2026, describing its passage as rushed and warning that some provisions could hurt cocoa farmers. The NPP say while it supports reforms to strengthen the cocoa sector, the bill was passed under a certificate of urgency without adequate consultation with key stakeholders, including cocoa farmers themselves.
Parliament on July 30 passed the Ghana Cocoa Board Bill 2026. The bill, which is awaiting assent, is to allow for major reforms in Ghana's cocoa sector. These include a guarantee that cocoa farmers will receive not less than 70% of the free on-board export price, but the New Patriotic Party says President Mahama should not sign the bill into law. The minority describes the passage as rushed and warning that provisions could hurt cocoa farmers.
We do not say that a certificate of urgency is unconstitutional. It is constitutional. What we are saying is that its use must be proportionate to the case for urgency, and that the case advanced here that the 2026-27 pricing window opens in September does not justify for closing consultation on a law of this permanence. The majority has asserted that a consultant toured the country and gathered stakeholder views. If that is so, the record should show. We urge His Excellency the President to withdraw assent to the Ghana Cocoa Bill 2026 and return same to Parliament for broader stakeholder consultation.
According to the government, they will also address long-standing compliance and enforcement challenges within the cocoa sector by providing statutory backing for regulatory functions that have largely been implemented through administrative guidelines.
Now to the camp of the governing NDC. It is ready in itself to hold its constituency and regional elections after concluding the branch and polling station elections. Now, the party's National Executive Committee at its meeting on August 4 directed the release of the timetable to commence the process for electing new constituency, regional and national executives. Let's engage with Madi Jibril, who is the Acting Director of IT and Elections of the party. Mr. Jibril, thank you for joining us. Good evening to you. Let's start with the most important issues, arguably. We know that issues about voters' register, they always come up, and they are contentious ones for candidates. What measures has the party taken to ensure that all aspiring candidates and their supporters have faith in the register?
Let me say good evening to your viewers. Currently, what the party is doing with the register is finalizing the register in the provisional form, which we will release them next week for validation. After validation, they will have a final register for the elections. Now, aspirants or candidates will get their voter register when they go through the process of vetting. That's where the candidate will get their voter register. But for now, every process that we are doing is to prepare the register towards the elections in September.
As we speak, are there constituencies that have legal issues surrounding them relating to the constituency and other elections?
Okay, when it comes to legal issues, yes, during the process of the branch elections, some branches have some legal issues which the party have resolved them. We have some constituencies also have those issues. But in all those ones, the party legal team has dealt with all those issues.
So there are no outstanding injunctions for the constituency elections. Is that what you're telling us?
No, we are not at the point of the constituency elections. But I'll be surprised when even the process of the constituency election begins, somebody will go and injunct it. Because the reasons for you injuncting the constituency election will come from the branch elections. And the process is transparent for everybody. For all the issues that have come up within the branch elections, we have dealt with those issues.
And finally, before you go, Madi, away from the register, what other, preparations is the party putting in place to ensure a smooth process, and with a timetable out for the constituency and regional elections as well? How is the party preparing?
In fact, the preparation is based on how you manage your branch election process. And that's why the party spent over 8 months to run these branch elections. As I speak to you, we are still handling the outstanding branch, some police station elections, all to give members of the party assurance that the upcoming constituency elections be free and fair.
I see. Madi, thank you. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best as well. Madi Jibril is Acting Director of Elections and IT of the governing NDC.
Monday, August 10 will mark exactly 2 months since a day-old baby went missing at the Salaga Government Hospital. Family of the missing baby have expressed disappointment in the management of the Salaga Government Hospital and the Ghana Health Service for failing to provide psychological support for the distraught mother as promised. Here's a report by Christopher Amwako.
So me mami mo omo be fe no akwara no omo ampeni se omo fe akwara no omo se akwara no ne hu fa no mi kuno koto aduro no omo be fa akwara no nte mi kuno akwata aduro no omo fe akwara no na ma veda mpana so akwara no omo afa akwara na mame.
The missing baby would have been her third child, and that child would have been 2 months old on August 10. Unfortunately, the mysterious missing of the baby has left the mother and other family members devastated almost 2 months after the incident. The maternity ward where the baby went missing has been thrown into a state of shock and has also become the center for painful questions by residents.
This was the court in which the newborn baby was kept until she was allegedly stolen. And according to the midwives here, the baby, after she was delivered, because of the stress that the mother went through, needed some further assessment, and so was brought to the NICU and kept in this particular court.
On his visit, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria, assured the family of the missing baby of some psychological assistance.
One of the measures is to make sure that we give psychological support to the lady, the mother, and the family.
It's almost 2 months since a day-old baby got missing mysteriously at the Salaga Government Hospital. Today, we are here in the Kulpi community to engage the immediate family of this missing baby. We want to find out, almost 2 months down the line, how life has been for them.
Yese yempanyimfo wana moye aban adwuma no matimi aba ase mrekwa akwa na yare se omo ba behwe akwa ne papa ne akwa ne mame se na omo sete omo ba no omo kan sampi no omo skache se omo hwe ama next phone bi aba na omo ba ma mene akwa ne mame se ne afutopa ebe ya yakuma beto yeyim nti ebe si mpopɛ so ayewo bako bia no a wa baba hwɛ sɛ akwan ma me te sɛn akwan papa te sɛn.
They maintain they are unable to go about their daily activities each time they think about the incident.
Omo ba ya na omo ba ya nkyɛn no obi no a wasatima baba ka sɛ akwan wɔ hɔ anase wɔ ni hɔ akwan wɔ nkwam anase wɔ ni hɔ debi obi atimi ayɛ de bɛn ansa ma amabɔ ya ma na anase obi atimi amfa ya phone so aka kyɛ yɛ saa nti misira aban sɛ wɔn waye no wɔn ma yɛ sa enka akwala no sɛ ne bɛsa ya yesu yakuma beto yeyem.
Paramount Queen Mother of the Saboba traditional area and members of the Konkomba Women Network who visited the community want government through the Ministry of Health to take keen interest in the matter.
The paramount chief of the land has assured us that he's going to team up with the policemen to intensify their search for the baby. And he said it has cost him a sleepless night and he's not been sleeping over that issue. So that issue is not something that he will leave it just like that.
Between June 2024 and June 10, 2026, 5 babies have reportedly gone missing, raising questions about the safety of newborns at health facilities. As the hospital continues to render 24-hour service to the public, the community continue to demand accountability from the hospital as conversations about safety of patients continue. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Kulpi.
And back here in the capital, the International Monetary Fund has urged the Bank of Ghana to end quasi-fiscal activities following losses recorded under the Domestic Gold Purchase Program. Now, the August Policy Coordination Instrument and the report cast a shadow over Ghana's celebrated economic recovery, revealing that the Bank of Ghana's Domestic Gold Purchase Program recorded losses of more than $1.7 billion in 2025, equivalent to 1.5% of GDP.
Revelations come shortly after the IMF completed the 6th and final review of Ghana's $3 billion bailout program. According to the IMF report, the significant expansion of the Domestic Gold Purchase Program, DGPP, led to losses of more than $1.7 billion. This is equivalent to 1.5% of Ghana's gross domestic product, with almost all of the losses linked to the purchase of Doro gold under the Gold for Reserves initiative. The fund says the losses are a combination of service and assay fees paid to Gold Board, discounts on gold sold to off-takers, and exchange rate losses arising from the difference between the Forex Bureau rate used to purchase gold and the city reference rate used for the Bank of Ghana's accounting. The report has now triggered a political debate. Ranking member on Parliament Economic Committee, Kujapon Kroma, is demanding full disclosure of the total financing provided for the program. But Sanarigu MP Ata Issa argues that the losses were a deliberate cost incurred to curb gold smuggling, rebuild reserves, and stabilize the economy. Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, USA, Professor Williams Kwesi-Pepora, says the central bank should desist from such transactions.
We'll see the same thing being reported in 2027, which will be for the half year of 2026, where gold board activity were funded by the Bank of Ghana. To me, if you ask me, what is the most important thing? Has that strategy been able to help to stabilize the economy? And if you look at Ghana, our major challenge is how we control exchange rate, or we make sure that we get exchange rate stability. And the gold board, the gains on that weighs more than the cost that we are currently talking about. So it's better that way.
He makes some recommendations on keeping the books of the central bank clean.
For the central bank to be more independent. But the reality is that everywhere in the world, central banks normally get involved in the quasi financing activity. Going forward, and I pray that how we manage the economy from 2022 post-COVID will not happen again, where we will need a central bank to come and bail us out in this format. This is a plan that we have to make sure that we ensure that the Bank of Ghana gets equity injection. It cannot be done at a point in time. This is a long-term strategy. And I listened to the finance minister in the media budget mentioning that, yes, they are going to do this within a period of about 3 to 5 years. So it's something that needs to be done to ensure that the Bank of Ghana gets equity.
An independent audit of the DGPP is underway, with its findings expected this year.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Some more stories here. The Jura Enclave works to keep the nation fed, but to get that food to the market, farmers must fight a road that gets worse every single day. Promises come every election cycle, but relief never does. Irama Smith has the story.
For families and farmers along this road, leaving home isn't a trip, it is a gamble with your life. The Simpa Junction to Nkrofo Highway was built to be a lifeline. It connects Takwa Nsoyim, Nzima East and Elembele. It moves food, people and trade. Today, years of neglect have turned that lifeline into a death trap. Governments have come and gone. The promises came too, but the asphalt never did. And the people of Jura are still waiting, still suffering, still on their own. Our news team found out firsthand when we traveled to Jura Ishim. From the first kilometer, potholes and mud took over. Tracks lay broken, abandoned, buried in the muck. This road was built for vehicles, for commerce and for connection. Now it's barely a trail where only motorcycles and the bravest drivers dare to roll the dice.
Memeba ọkwa awụọsọ na ne ba yare ya de ne kwa hospital no ya kwa tro ekwa ne so ho e na akwala ani finati akwala ani wi na senye ekwa na ka akwala no aka yetume de ne kwa ekwokoduri ana me kwa ni nti me nana no wo wi.
Isaac Asari, an Okada rider, lives that reality every day. A trip that used to take 90 minutes from Jura Eyinase to Jura Ishim now takes 4 hours if you are lucky. With the road destroyed, fares have doubled. Passengers now pay 100 cedis, not 50, just to get home.
Because you want to say from a gym to a say 100 cities instead of say 50 cities in the agent. 100 cities are near a
before so benya kakra or de oniama beba no na wa bre enye easy ye bre pa say me fan say ekwan ne ya fan ka yentua 100 cities ba ekwan ne nye nti sisi a yetua 100 cities e ba ne sa na yenso a yefa okada ne yeso eboa ye nti aban wontwa nani no mehwe ye na ye bre wo sa kwan we so.
And even during celebrations, the pain is there. Speaking after the launch of this year's Yeyino Afasha Festival, the chief of Jura Ishim had one message.
With regards to the road, the road has become our major problem since from infancy. We've been trying every MP that will come and even during the campaign will come and tell us that we should wait for him after the campaign. They will come and do the roads for us. But at the end, we would rather they will not do anything. So as for the road, there is a major problem for Jura.
The food from Jura feeds the nation, but the road that carries it is breaking the people who grow it. This is not just a road story, it is a people story. And for the mothers, farmers and drivers of Jura, every journey home is still a risk they should never have to take. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Jura Ishim, Western Region.
You're watching News 360. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
Behind the vibrant markets and shores of Ghana's central waterways lies a grim, persistent reality: human trafficking, which continues to rob thousands of their basic human dignity. From internal child labor along the Volta Basin to cross-border exploitation, trafficking remains one of the country's most pervasive human rights challenges.
To the 2025 rescue statistics and prosecution figures, Ghana recorded an unprecedented 2,331 human trafficking victims rescues in 2025, a dramatic increase from 794 in 2024 and 1,089 in 2023. Out of the 2,331 victims rescued nationally, 1,544 were men, 789 were women, 425 were children, and 1,906 were adults. In regions like Bono East, research indicates that nearly 38% of children working on the water are likely victims of human trafficking. An additional 45% endure exploitative child labor. Bono East serves as a critical geographic hub, connecting transit routes between northern and southern Ghana, while bordering the northern reaches of Lake Volta. In lakeside communities such as Sene East, young boys are trafficked to boat masters, forced into hazardous tasks such as deep diving under dark waters to untangle fishing nets. These children suffer high rates of physical injury, severe trauma, and malnutrition.
Media de 2 years, me drew Jatako 18 years. Ntia kwa na ba ko konsuase.
I experienced this once when I was in the sea. One child hit the other because he sent him to dive and untangle a net. The child couldn't do it. The elderly child hit him with the wood to go back and untangle the net. I had to intervene immediately.
But do parents see this as a crime?
It's not our wish to let our children work, but sometimes when the pressure is too much, you have to also let them experience it.
Additionally, emerging cyber trafficking and romance scam networks increasingly target vulnerable youth. Under Ghanaian law, human trafficking carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years imprisonment. However, legal experts and social advocates argue that short sentences fail to act as an effective deterrent for a crime that fundamentally strips individuals of human rights.
In our laws, if anyone is caught involving in this very atrocious crime, the person is sentenced to a term of 5 years imprisonment. For me, I don't think it's even deterrent enough, because trafficking it works against the dignity of the victim. Trafficking in our context is very rife, especially when it comes to children used on the lake, the northern and southern part of the lake. And what is even more disheartening is that parents are involved in this. They give out their children to boat masters to be used on the lake. A very, very hazardous venture. The child can drown, the child can die. Sometimes when these children are rescued, you see that a lot is wrong, health-wise, nutrition-wise. The child is not balanced.
Beyond sentencing, frontline responders, including the Ghana Police Service and anti-human trafficking units, face critical operational deficits.
I once rescued some kids and sent them to the police, but how to get them back to their home was even a challenge. I ended up bearing the costs.
So some are brought from, especially the girls are brought from Nigeria, and they are camped or harbored in brothels and exploited sexually. So these are some of the issues we are encountering. That is why I think as a country, we should put in the necessary logistics to tackle this crime. Our agencies are very less resourced. You look at the Department of Social Welfare, there are not enough shelters to even house these victims when they are rescued. So as a system, we should be able to buffer up some of these, especially the Department of Social Welfare and the Ghana Police Service.
Standard operating procedures demand trauma-informed care for survivors, yet a severe lack of state-run shelters and victim support infrastructure leaves rescued individuals at risk of re-victimization or further trauma.
Hoping that the Department of Social Welfare officers will be well equipped with knowledge as far as human trafficking is concerned, and how to handle these cases or survivors that come to them in a trauma-informed way in order not to re-victimize or further traumatize them.
Addressing human trafficking in Bono East and across Ghana requires moving beyond temporary rescues. Dismantling exploitation networks permanently demands dedicated budgetary allocation, equipped law enforcement agencies, expanded shelter facilities, and rigorous prosecution. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Bono East Region.
You're watching News 360 on TV3. It's now a good time to get to know what the weather situation will be like in parts of the country for the next 12 hours.
News segment is brought to you by Syntex Tank.
News 360 returns with more stories after this break. Please stay with us. Now, France international Lucas Digne has completed a move from Aston Villa to European champions Paris Saint-Germain. Now, he returns to the club after 8 years in England following PSG's decision to activate a £8.5 million release clause in his contract. The 33-year-old left-back has signed a 3-year deal at the Parc des Princes. Meanwhile, Italian club Como have signed defender Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea in a deal worth more than £30 million. The 27-year-old has signed a 5-year contract with Cesc Fabregas' side, who secured Champions League qualification by finishing 4th in Serie A last season. Well, that's your sports. Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
After an impressive launch and spectacular gala last week, Sunday, the journey to crown the 20th GMB Queen officially begins. The stage is set, the 16 contestants are ready, and this week, the Regents take center stage. Following their grand unveiling last week, the contestants will make their first major stage appearance, taking us on a colorful journey across Ghana. Each contestant will proudly introduce her region, telling the stories that make her people, culture, and heritage truly special. From geographical locations and iconic tourist attractions to local cuisine, culture, traditions, and hidden treasures, the contestants will use creativity, personality, and performance to bring their regions to life. To make a date at 8 p.m. a few minutes from now for that opening of Ghana's most beautiful, the 20th edition. Up next is international news. And Iran says a deal with Oman defining new shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz was in its final stages, but reiterated the waterway would only reopen once the United States met other conditions. Iranian Foreign Minister said on Sunday an agreement on the straits that lies between the two countries was in the final stages, but repeated comments made on Saturday that it would not reopen it unless other conditions were met. The agreement would set out the new shipping lanes to be used once the U.S. fulfills those conditions and the strait is reopened.
Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's 15-point plan for Gaza, stating that no military pullout will happen until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. Trump's Board of Peace said last month they had reached an agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and other armed groups in Gaza, but Hamas said handing over its heavy weapons was contingent on Israel ending all forms of aggression and withdrawing its forces from Gaza. Israel has continued to carry out strikes on Gaza since agreeing to an initial ceasefire in the territory last October.
And Syria and Russia have reached a memorandum of understanding to settle the future of Russian bases, and the Syrian Foreign Ministry said on Sunday that the deal follows 18 months of intensive negotiations. The ministry said the Syrian state will take over management of civilian facilities, including the Hemim airport and the commercial berth at Tartus port, allowing them to be gradually integrated into the country's civilian administration.
Thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. But that's it for News 360. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby Adam.
And I am Bernice Abubeidulanta. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.